There's a link to Doctor Who, I think. You know, Tennant is in Doctor Who. Tennant was asking an alien about his pronouns. What is this? I've never watched Doctor Who. My dad used to watch Doctor Who. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I'm maybe as old as your dad then, because I used to watch it. I mean, it was a great kids show. It's now, you know, as woke as it can be. I couldn't watch. I watched it for about a microsecond and I had to turn it off.
Was it the alien pronoun?
No, there's a gay guy who's now who's probably calling himself queer, who's now the Doctor.
Oh, the fella from Sex Education.
Yeah. So I mean, generally, I just think the public, the viewing figures have plummeted, and I think there's a sense generally, and that's why organizations like LGBT Alliance, you know, were set up. There's going to be a backlash. You know, it looks like the other side is making all the progress and they're pushing and there are now the boundaries coming down. But behind this, you know, I live in Glasgow, and that the majority of ordinary people are just biding their time. They're not particularly political. They'll put up with LGBT crap in their schools for a little while. They turn on the telly, it's another LGBT thing. They go to the supermarket, it's another pride celebration. There comes a point where they're just going to say, you know what, this really does feel like you're promoting homosexuality, the sort of stuff that you know, gays and, you know, transgender people used to be accused way back of having an agenda. You know, you want to turn children gay. That was the big, you know, accusation. And we managed to, you know, get rid of that, you know, claim and get rid of the people in the movement who really did want to do that, and who were very weak on child safeguarding. And but now it's all come back, and it's almost tailor-made to be making the argument that homophobes used to make, which is that there's an agenda here, and it looks like it. You know, there was this wonderful picture, wonderful in a bad way, about 3 years ago, the two people that the Biden administration sent to celebrate Bastille Day in France was the non-binary atomic expert Sam Brinton, who was later charged with stealing women's underwear from airports, and Rachel Levine, the assistant health secretary. And so there's this amazing picture.
Who's trans for people?
Oh, yes. Who looks like a bloke in a dress. I mean, there's nobody looks at that guy and thinks anything. Not a bloke in a dress, bloke in a admiral's uniform, has never done a day's service in his life.
Really?
And
he's very overweight.
Yes, that's the least thing. For the health secretary.
You're the health secretary. You're appointing someone as Biden. You're saying, hey, we're going to we're making a message here because all the Trump guys, they think we're weak and pathetic. No, we're going to come in. Here's our health assistant. And it's somebody who doesn't know what sex they are and is overweight. I think if they were just overweight, it wouldn't be an issue.
And is advocating, giving, it was later discovered only a couple of weeks ago that they had been arguing within the likes of WPATH, the trans health organization, to remove all the limits at which children could be given hormones. So they could be given hormones at any level, any age, which is appalling. So, you know, you could give a 6-year-old girl male hormones. I mean, it's just, it's absolutely appalling. And that's the assistant health secretary of the United States arguing for that.
Whoever made that appointment must be senile.
You would think. Well, no, they would be senile, but also have very close family friends who are trans.
Biden.
Yes. I mean, I've written before about the trans link with Biden is intimate and deeply personal because his son, who died of cancer, the person who worked in his office was a trans activist who's now a senator, who after he died, Bo died, the guy who says he's a woman came to work for Biden. They're close family friends. And he's talked, the trans woman has talked about how they bonded the Biden family. Jill and Joe Biden bonded over the death of Bo. So they are so captured by the whole trans ideology.
Man, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. That's gonna give fuel to a lot of people. we have in the UK a Labour government now. For those abroad, that's the lefty one, the Democrats sort of the UK. What are your early feelings with regards to the trans stuff, the gender stuff? What are they going to be more sensible than people thought?
Well, Wes Streeting, who's a gay guy, Christian gay guy, appears to be very sensible. He's made all the right moves and said all the right things, unlike Starmer. Wes Streeting, who's the health secretary, has said that he was wrong. Because he worked at Stonewall, the big LGBT charity, and he said he was wrong for ignoring the sort of complaints of women. He's finally got round to saying it was terrible that the Labour MP Rosie Duffield, who was bullied and trolled by trans activists, that was really wrong, and the Labour Party should have done more to defend her. And he's upheld the CAS review into puberty blockers, and subject to, there's a court hearing quite soon, but subject to that, he said that he's going to continue the ban, making puberty blockers banned throughout the NHS. So that's fantastic. I think there's a quid pro quo going on with the lobby, because we didn't hear any complaints from the big LGBT organizations about that. Loads of activists complained, but Stonewall didn't say a single thing about the fact that the health secretary had said there was going to be a continuation of the ban. And so I think they've done a deal behind the scenes on conversion therapy. So Streeting and the entire Labour Party has said that they're going to bring in a conversion therapy ban. That is such a complicated subject, conversion therapy. And I think it'll be difficult to educate the public and the politicians about what the risks are. You know all about the conversion therapy ban. I mean, it's an attempt. It's essentially telling children, telling parents and doctors that you cannot advise a child who thinks they've been born in the wrong body that might be a mistake. That there might be another or exploring other reasons why they feel disconnected from their body. The whole point of a conversion therapy ban is to ensure that the only response is that you affirm that child's statement. Oh yes, you are born in the wrong body. That effectively, bizarrely, means that a conversion therapy ban will promote conversion.
Yes. Because
there'll be loads of these troubled, often gay teenagers, not always, but often, who are confused. And if they can't go to therapists or get care that challenges them gently, respectfully, then you're baking in this delusion in their mind.
They're using, as you alluded to before, with regards to the idea of an agenda, they seem to be using a lot of the horrible parts of the gay civil rights movement, the parts of the horrible reaction and pushback, which was, oh, you guys all have an agenda, so now we can't say that about trans. Yes. Equally, the the gay conversion thing, which is, again, I think it's a horrible, barbaric practice. People are gay, they're gay, let them do their life. Horrible, and I've seen it happening in places like Ecuador. I was looking into that in Ecuador. In Ecuador, they banned it, and it actually got even worse because people started taking these kids, like kidnapping them from the church and sort of doing that. Like anything, you ban it, it can get worse. It's so complicated. But again, that
doesn't happen in this country. It's such a lie that it happens in this country.
Gay conversion. Gay conversion.
Gay conversion. It can't happen. There is no register. There's no organization that registers psychotherapists that would allow someone. You would lose your license.
It could happen
to
in
practice.
Churches, couldn't it? Or behind closed doors, churches.
Well, but exorcisms happen in churches. Are we going to go into churches and say, you can't tell somebody the devil's inside them? Oh, I mean, good luck. I mean, it's absurd. And so one of the things that this mad woman, Jane Ozanne, who is a lesbian who claims to have gone through an exorcism 40 years ago, which has never left her. She's an evangelical Christian. So, and she did a video where she said, across Britain, young people are being beaten, raped, abused, locked in cupboards to try to convert them. And me and loads of other people said, any of these things are illegal. You can't lock people in cupboards. You obviously can't rape them. You can't beat them up. So it's just a downright lie that conversion therapy is happening in this country, except in some nutty churches. But is that is parliamentary time in Britain going to be devoted to trying to police absolutely nutty churches that do nutty things all the time? I mean,
potentially, yeah. You don't want.
I mean, but potentially, but not at the risk of undermining therapeutic care for thousands of children. To save 2 people who are deluded enough to go to some crazy, sectarian church and then get shouted at by a pastor. To save these 2 people, we've to affirm the delusion in thousands of children. It's absolutely.
But can't we just say we ban conversion of gay people, like anyone's sexuality, leave them alone? But however, people who think they're in the wrong body, that needs to be discussed.
Well, that was the compromise that gay organizations, LGBT Alliance and everybody else, the LGBT Alliance and everybody else said, it's not a priority, but if you're going to do the legislation, then that's what you should do. But nobody was, the joke is, Stonewall has existed for 30 years. It only started talking about conversion therapy 3 or 4 years ago. The gay movement, we got gay rights in 1967 in Britain. Conversion therapy wasn't an issue. When there was conversion, there was conversion therapy in the 60s, 70s, 80s. There were still crazy people doing conversion therapy. It's all been removed. It's all been made illegal. No hospital, no clinic would do it. No university would do it. They used to do it. Of course,
and then it's words, isn't it? It's
the gay conversion therapy is just a disguise to get the trans part in, which. That is the story of the entire gay movement now. What happened is the gay movement is sort of the sheep's clothing. It's thrown over this dangerous, madcap, bizarre, unscientific movement, which is the trans movement. And these hollowed out organizations like Stonewall isn't a gay organization anymore. It only thinks about one thing, which is trans rights.